Reflecting back on Caitlin Clark's rookie season, I have honestly never seen a company fumble the bag so hard like the WNBA fumbled Caitlin Clark.
The most recent playoff ratings have been officially released, and you won't believe how much they have already dropped. A'ja Wilson was just knocked out of the playoffs, and guess what? Nobody cares. Or did you care? I can tell I did not watch any of the other playoff games without Clark. And to be fair, I don't care who wins the championship this year. I'm just waiting for Clark to play again. What about you?
No, April.
Well, okay.
Trust me, I'm not going to be watching. I'm not going to be watching.
I was surprised Steve Kerr didn't jump out in that press conference. And
That's correct. Fans are refusing to watch the WNBA because of Caitlin Clark's absence. It isn't enjoyable. It's not entertaining, which is why ratings have already dropped by 50%, and the finals will drop even further.
The same with Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever now eliminated. Game 1 of the Aces Liberty matchup on Sunday drew an average of 929,000 viewers. It's a good number for the WNBA on an NFL Sunday. However, that was down nearly 50% from last Sunday's Fever Sun contest. By the way, not only was viewership down, but attendance was as well.
Even A'ja Wilson, the WNBA's last star, was just eliminated. But even while she was playing, she couldn't get others to watch. With just Dejanai Carrington and Alyssa Thomas remaining, the WNBA is in danger, with viewership plunging with each match. And the reputation those two created in recent weeks will certainly cause people to refrain from tuning in. Or are you going to watch a Suns final?
Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever had over 1.8 million viewers. This is now on an NFL Sunday. They had over 1.8 million viewers, and the rest of the games had around 400,000 viewers. I have not seen the viewership reports for the games last night yet, but I'm sure that it is probably double of what the Indiana Fever game got on Sunday. The rest of the games, if you added them up together, they still wouldn't add up to 1.84 million. The numbers don't lie here.
Let's get real. Caitlin's impact is the true reason the WNBA isn't getting as much attention. Remember this, with Caitlin Clark playing, the WNBA drew more than 1 million viewers. They get a mere 400,000 when A'ja Wilson plays. The WNBA is in disarray now that the MVP of the year has left the league, and the others, well, even less.
Look at the attendance when the Fever play your favorite team, and look at the attendance when they don't. Only the Aces sell out every game. They got 4 Olympians. They got A'ja Wilson, unanimous MVP. They got Kelsey Plum, who was the #1 overall pick. A'ja Wilson was the #1 overall pick. Jackie Young was on the Olympic team. Chelsea Gray was on the Olympic team. I don't get it.
This is what happens when you don't safeguard your star player. Caitlin was poked, pushed, and shoved during every game. No decisions were made, including in the playoffs. Caitlin got a black eye. Nothing. Nobody is watching while the WNBA suffers. Now I'm not saying they should give a free pass for Clark and the Fever to reach the finals. But surely we can all agree the Fever Sun games were not officiated correctly.
We don't have the privilege of just playing basketball. We have to care about these social issues. She's playing in a social issues league that wants to wear shirts that say vote, wants to scream Black Lives Matter, wants to push some sort of political agenda. She just wants the ball. She just wants to be the best basketball player.
The league has struggled to keep up its pace since Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever was eliminated from the race. This was more than simply a setback for the WNBA. It was a watershed moment that highlighted how important Clark's presence was to the league. Since then, the WNBA has had a viewing problem that many in the league did not anticipate, or perhaps decided to ignore. They now have some big questions to answer for next year. Do you think they're regretting all the missed opportunities to promote Clark and the league?
Broke records that were set by rookies. She broke records that were set by veterans in this league when they were double digits into their playing career. Caitlin Clark broke those records. For me, the individual performances of Caitlin were phenomenal. They were incredible. My favorite part about her rookie season was how her team started to gel around her and how her chemistry with her teammates grew more and more and more with every game. Her play was outstanding, but how she elevated her teammates was also so fun to watch. Hats off to Caitlin, should have been unanimous.
Clark is more than simply a rising star. She's a fan favorite who goes beyond the game. Her style of play, personality, and ability to captivate fans from all over the world have made her the star of the WNBA's most watched games. And now, in her absence, the figures speak for themselves.
2 Sundays ago with Caitlin Clark, she drew 1.8 million viewers on an NFL Sunday. This past NFL Sunday, Asia Wilson drew 900,000 viewers, which that was the Aces Liberty game. That's actually 300,000 more than I thought. I thought it would drop to around 600,000. I really do. And I think moving forward, I think that number is going to, as the playoffs continue on, I think that number is going to continue to come down.
The Fever's elimination caused a shockwave across the league, and viewership have subsequently fallen. According to initial accounts, viewership was cut in half immediately upon Clark's departure, with future games experiencing even steeper decreases as the playoffs continued. What was once expected to be a great year for the league has turned out to be a sobering reminder of how much the Caitlin Clark effect powered their success.
There's a reason 12 million people are watching ESPN for a game. If that game was on CBS, they probably would have had 25, 30 million people watching that game.
And I can't give you much credit.
The WNBA's dependence on Caitlin Clark was perhaps unavoidable from the minute she appeared on the court. Her talent and attitude made her an immediate success. Clark sparked a major spike of interest in the Indiana Fever, propelling them to the top of the league's ratings. When the Fever played on the road, Clark's followers frequently filled the stands, drowning out home team fans and making every Fever away game feel more like a home court advantage.
Fever was turning away games into home games every single time that they were on the road. You even had Dallas Wings players saying, like, it kind of sucks seeing so many Indiana Fever in 2020 or 22 jerseys in the stands, but it's also cool to see a lot of people in the stands. Like, Indiana Fever was turning away games into home games, and so it's kind of sad that through all of that, Caitlin was still advocating for players on the other team to get bonuses because she saw the kind of money and eyeballs and viewership that all of this was generating. And so again,
Her effect on the WNBA has been unparalleled. Fans followed her every move, whether she was shooting three-pointers from distance or executing fast break moves with exquisite accuracy. Her explosive play style is unlike anything seen in the league in recent years, garnering parallels to some of the NBA's most marketable players. Clark's ability to draw a new group of young basketball fans who may not have previously been interested in the WNBA is nothing short of astounding. She has crossed the gap between casual viewers and die-hard fans, establishing a fan base that extends beyond conventional fan groups and places her among the most sought-after athletes in the sport.
Well, that's it, you guys. Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever were just kicked for the WNBA playoffs, and it looks like we're not going to be seeing Caitlin Clark play basketball again for another 200 days. An ESPN reporter said at the end of the Indiana Fever Connecticut Sun Game 2 that Caitlin Clark almost definitely will not be playing basketball this offseason, so no overseas and no 3-on-3 unrivaled league. Which, in her defense, she has been playing basketball for about 10 months straight, between college and then going straight into the WNBA. The girl has had no rest. But what will this mean for WNBA ratings? During Game 1 of the playoffs, the Fever had nearly 2 million viewers tuning in, while all the other games had around 400,000. Even the WNBA Countdown, which was aired before the Indiana Fever game, had more viewers than 2 of the series. With Caitlin's departure, do we think that these new WNBA fans are going to stick around for the rest of the playoffs? The Liberty Aces series might be one that draws some numbers. The disparity between 1.8 million and around 400,000 is wild, especially with football season being in full swing now.
With Clark gone, the WNBA has sensed a hole. The excitement and energy that surrounds the league during the regular season appeared to have subsided, leaving a significant decline in enthusiasm. Fans who had grown accustomed to seeing her light up the court are suddenly less interested in postseason games, as no other player can match her unique blend of star power and fan appeal.
I mean, I drove to Albany to see her. I've never done that. You know, the last time I drove someplace to see a player was Pete Maravich in the NIT. That was when I was 21. That was 50 years ago. So she's that good. She's just an amazing passer.
Yeah.
Probably one of the most creative passers I've ever seen, along with the Magic Johnson, that type of passer. She makes long, short pass, bounce pass. I mean, incredible passes. And her teammates have been really good. They catch her and they finish. I mean, they've done a really good job with her. I mean, I think LSU is 20 points better than Iowa, but she wasn't going to let that happen.
However, the WNBA's handling of Caitlin Clark's rising prominence has proven to be a significant mistake. Throughout the season, the league was hesitant to accept her as the star she had become, treating her with the same old guard mindset that has plagued the WNBA in the past. Instead of acknowledging Clark as more than just another rookie, the league seemed to dismiss the buzz surrounding her. To make matters worse, the WNBA has decided to keep the voting process private, infuriating fans who believe Clark was robbed of what was rightly hers. Transparency, particularly in award voting, is critical to preserving confidence, and the WNBA's choice to keep the process private has only exacerbated fan anger. Many feel this was an intentional maneuver by the league to avoid more scrutiny or anger from Clark's support base. Instead, it sparked outrage among her followers.
But ever since, Angel Reese had that injury, to me, and also coming off of Olympic break, Caitlin Clark separated herself. Yeah. She should have been unanimous. Now, to celebrate her, one thing that people forget is as a rookie, she was the most blitzed player in the WNBA, and she still put up 19, 5, and 8 assists, breaking, like you said, the assist record. To be able to do that as a rookie in the face of that much defensive pressure, should have been unanimous.
Should have been. It should have been unanimous.
The WNBA's decision not to name Clark the 6th unanimous Rookie of the Year in league history has strained relations with its fans. Fans are outraged, accusing the league of failing to give Clark the accolades she deserves and seeking explanations about how the voting process worked.
Do you want me to just say I told you so, or are you willing to say, Stephen A., you did tell us? Really? Caitlin Clark is the golden goose. Not most, not all, but some people spent some time resenting her for it. Cheryl Swoosh was one of those people. You want to give shine, you want to give love to others other than her. Just say what you truly feel. Sisters, black women, who are absolutely positively fantastic in helping to build the WNBA, did not receive the shine, the acclaim, the allure, the attention, the marketing, and everything else with it that they richly deserve. And there are very, very few people, but there are some out there who resent the fact that this young white girl came out there and did her thing. Rookie of the Year, 4th in the league for MVP voting, assist leader, one of the top leading scorers after the Olympic Games. She put on a show, validating all the attention she was receiving.
The controversy surrounding the Rookie of the Year voting has become a catalyst for greater dissatisfaction with how the WNBA has managed Clark's rise. Many fans and observers believe that her absence from such an award, especially given the influence she has had on the league, reflects a greater issue: the WNBA's resistance to change and unwillingness to promote its best young talents in the same manner that other sports organizations do. Clark's supporters believe the league's refusal to acknowledge her effect is a clear smack in the face, and the resulting drop in viewership only serves to justify their worries. What chance does the WNBA have of retaining new fans if it is unable to properly appreciate its top developing talent? And let's not forget, Clark isn't playing for another 200 days. Will the WNBA be able to keep the hype that long?
Another wake-up call for them, because this season has been nothing short of a mess. Not only with the drama, the social media, the commissioner not saying the right things, coaches getting fired, the refereeing, like, it has been a mess. The statement from the WNBA PA that leaked the Defensive Player of the Year and Rookie of the Year awards to all the fans, trying to do like a clap. Like, there have been so many things. It has been a mess this year. It has been so unprofessional, and they need to step it up, and they need to step it up quick, and they also need to, I don't know if an apology is warranted to Caitlin Clark, or they just need to, in general.
A'ja Wilson's issues reflect a wider issue in the WNBA. For years, the league has failed to gain traction in popular sports culture, much as the NBA or women's college basketball. Wilson, Breanna Stewart, and Diana Taurasi have been some of the game's greatest stars for years, but none of them have been able to generate the same level of engagement as Clark has in such a short period of time.
A'ja Wilson has had the most difficult season of her career. She couldn't get the credit she deserved because Caitlin Clark showed up, and this is proof that her life is 10 times as hard as, to get the same credit. She's MVP of the league, I think, for the 3rd time. She's won 2 championships. She's got a statue at the University of South Carolina Have we not done enough to celebrate Asia Wilson? Have you contributed to her life being 10 times as hard?
However, the WNBA's hesitation to fully embrace her star power has raised questions about the league's future. If the league fails to capitalize on this type of generational potential, it risks limiting its own growth. Clark is more than simply a promising talent. She marks a significant shift in the way people consume the sport. This mismanagement of Clark's developing prominence may out to be a squandered opportunity that the league will regret. Instead of boosting the WNBA to new heights, Clark's reticence to fully embrace her popularity has many questioning if the league can actually develop. Clark's influence extends beyond the court. She has single-handedly ushered in a new wave of fans to the WNBA, making this season the most watched in its history. Her feature reel exploits, long-range shooting, and ferocious competition have drew in people who would not ordinarily watch a WNBA game. Caitlin Clark is more than simply a basketball player. She has become a cultural phenomenon, transcending the sport.
Just an amazing passer.
Yeah.
Probably one of the most creative passers I've ever seen, along with the Magic Johnson, that type of passer. She makes long, short pass, bounce pass. I mean, incredible passes. And her teammates have been really good. They catch her and they finish. I mean, they've done a really good job with her.
Her appeal extends beyond typical basketball fandom. She's attracted new fans, young and old, male and female, and from all over the world. Clark has become a symbol of excitement in women's basketball, and the league's reluctance to realize this has alienated her large fan following while also jeopardizing its own development chances. As the playoffs proceed without Clark, the WNBA is in a vulnerable situation. The decline in viewership is more than simply a temporary concern. It might have long-term consequences for the league's general appeal. Ratings have continued to plummet, leaving the WNBA puzzled as to how they lost the momentum they had built up over the season. The Caitlin Clark impact grows stronger with each game. Fans who formerly watched faithfully have begun to lose interest, and even Aja Wilson's star power hasn't been able to stem the tide. Wilson and other players have worked hard to keep the league relevant in Clark's absence, but the vacuum created by her departure has proven too great to fill. The WNBA is now forced to address the truth of its actions, as well as the implications of failing to recognize Clark's contributions. Clark's future in the WNBA is now the subject of much discussion. While she is still under contract with the Indiana Fever, there are growing fears that she may seek to take her skills elsewhere, notably to the EuroLeague, where players are frequently paid more and treated with more respect. The EuroLeague provides rich contracts and a basketball atmosphere in which players like Clark are appreciated for their celebrity and influence both on and off the court. If the WNBA does not make dramatic adjustments in how it handles its elite players, particularly those like Clark who have the ability to propel the league to new heights, it risks losing them to other leagues completely. The idea of Clark transferring her skills abroad may sound far-fetched now, but it is not impossible if the WNBA continues to mishandle its most prized assets. The WNBA must now confront the brutal reality that Caitlin Clark is more than simply a player. She is a cultural force who has revolutionized what women's basketball can be. If the league does not change its attitude and welcome its rising stars, it risks losing more than just viewers. It risks jeopardizing the sport's future.
What you have to respect, however, is that the paying customer, the audience, didn't feel that way. They did not give a damn about the WNBA for years. Is that fair to the ladies? No, it isn't fair. It's not right. But they're the paying customer. You don't tell them what they want. They tell you what they want. And they really were not feeling the WNBA to the degree that they're feeling the WNBA now, obviously because of Caitlin Clark, who's selling out games.
The league is at a crossroads. On the one hand, it has the potential to expand massively by capitalizing on the popularity of players such as Caitlin Clark. On the other hand, if it continues to disregard the obvious indicators of her influence, it risks drifting back into irrelevance. The 2024 season was expected to be a watershed moment, with the WNBA capitalizing on its burgeoning fan base, more exposure, and rising star power. However, it has become a cautionary tale about what occurs when a league fails to recognize its most valuable asset.
Would you allow Caitlin Clark, if you were her coach, to shoot the way she shoots?
And further back if she wants.
There's no bad shot then for her.
He's like Steph Curry. You think Steve Kerr ever tells Steph Curry, hey, Steph, don't take that shot?
Clark's departure from the playoffs indicated more than just a short drop in ratings. It has shown a deeper issue: the league's hesitation to fully embrace its rising players and change its strategy. While the WNBA has improved in recent years, it still falls short in areas such as marketing, fan interaction, and player promotion. Players such as A'ja Wilson and Breanna Stewart have all contributed to propel the league ahead, but Caitlin Clark's entrance was unique. The WNBA must decide how to properly showcase its talents, give them the credit they deserve, and reverse the decline in viewership that has occurred since Clark was eliminated from the playoffs. The ratings fall is more than simply one player's departure. It is the result of a bigger failing to generate momentum behind people who can propel the league forward. The WNBA's future is unknown, but one thing is certain: the Caitlin Clark effect is real, and it is changing the face of women's basketball. Whether or if the league embraces this will decide its destiny for the foreseeable future. It's not just about the stats, the trophies, or the recognition. It's about honoring the players who can propel the WNBA to new heights. Caitlin Clark now symbolizes that potential more than any other player. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. Please let me know what you think of Clark.